Hi everyone, thanks for taking a moment to hear about what your children will be exploring in design and technologies this term. I've also made a short video for the children where I guide them through a fun challenge, Can We Make a Marble Float? This video is for you to give you a clear picture of what we're doing in class and why we're doing it, and how hands-on learning helps young children grow into confident and creative problem solvers. In kindergarten, designer technologies is really all about playful problem solving. Young children learn so much when they can explore materials, test their ideas, and use their hands and imagination. For our 4 to 5-year-olds, this kind of learning builds curiosity, creativity, early scientific thinking, persistence, confidence to try again, and the ability to talk about what they're thinking. These are skills children need in the 21st century, and they develop through simple, practical experiences that feel like play. The Australian curriculum encourages children to explore how materials can be used for a purpose and how designs help solve problems. This aligns beautifully with the early years learning framework, which sees children as capable, curious learners who learn best through play, exploration, and real experiences. To introduce the design cycle in a way that makes sense to young children, we start with the story Who Sank the Boat by Pamela Allen. If you haven't read this story before, I'll attach a link to the picture of the book just here. It gives us a shared starting point for thinking about floating and sinking. From there, we pose a simple challenge. How can we make a marble float? For kindergarten, this task is perfect. It's hands-on, sensory, playful, and open-ended. It's something that they can genuinely explore, and it's achievable while still being full of discovery. The children will look closely at a marble, make predictions, draw their ideas, build something using recycled materials, test it in water, and reflect on what happened. It all feels very natural and enjoyable for this age group, but underneath it, they're doing early engineering thinking. Even though the challenge looks simple, it's grounded in strong educational theory about how young children learn. One of the key ideas behind this work is constructionism from Seymour Papert. He believed that children learn deeply when they're making something real, something they can hold, test, change, and talk about. So when your child builds a tiny boat or raft for a marble, they're not just doing a craft activity. They're exploring scientific ideas, trying out their thinking, and learning through hands-on play. We also draw on David Kolb's experiential learning cycle, which explains that children learn best when they move through 4 stages. 1, having a real experience like building and testing their design. 2, reflecting on what happened. Did it float? Why or why not? 3, coming up with new ideas. What could I change? And 4, trying again. This is exactly what the design cycle helps children do. Ask, think, create, test, and reflect. For 4 to 5-year-olds, this process is ideal. It helps them begin developing early metacognition, the ability to think about their thinking, but in a way that feels natural and playful. As part of this unit, I completed the same challenge the children will be doing. I tried to make a small paper boat that could make a marble float for 5 minutes. At first, it looked promising, but after 2 minutes, the paper got soggy and down it went. It was a great reminder that this is exactly what real designers experience. Things don't usually work out perfectly the first time. Testing often shows us things we didn't expect, and it's the reflection afterwards, why did it happen, what could I try next, that helps us improve our design. Sharing this with the children is powerful. It shows them that mistakes aren't something to worry about. They're part of the learning. And when something doesn't work, that's when the thinking really begins. Even in kindergarten, children are already building skills they'll carry with them into the future. Through the design cycle, they practice thinking creatively and generating their own ideas, solving problems, especially when something doesn't work the first time, explaining their thinking, using materials safely and making thoughtful choices, and developing persistence, a huge skill at this age. We also talk about caring for the environment, which is why we use recycled materials wherever possible. All of these skills link directly to the general capabilities in the Australian curriculum. They help children grow into curious, confident learners who can adapt, create, and problem solve, skills that matter in a fast-changing world. As a class, we talk a lot about caring for our Earth. The Australian curriculum includes a sustainability priority, which simply means helping children learn to use resources thoughtfully and understand that small choices make a big difference. That's why we encourage the use of recycled and natural materials in our design work. It helps children see that great ideas don't need brand new things. They can reuse what they already have. This builds early habits around recycling waste, thinking creatively with what's available, and understanding that they can help look after the environment. It also supports problem solving because different shapes, textures, and strengths of materials give children something real to explore, test, and talk about. At home, you don't need anything fancy to support this kind of learning. The best thing you can do is simply chat with your child while they're exploring or building. You might ask, what do you think will happen if you try it this way? How can you make it stronger? These small open-ended questions help children think like designers. If they start drawing their ideas, encourage it. Even quick sketches help them organize their thinking. And when something doesn't work the first time, that's actually perfect. We celebrate the effort, the experimenting, and the willingness to try again. Those small everyday moments help children grow into confident, capable young designers. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video and supporting your child's learning. When families and educators stay connected and share what children are curious about, it really boosts their confidence. Children feel safe to try new things, take risks in their learning, and show us what they're thinking. The little things you do at home, listening to their ideas, asking questions, celebrating their efforts, make a real difference. When children see the important adults in their world working together, it strengthens their sense of belonging and it helps them thrive. I hope you enjoy watching the student video and seeing your child explore the design cycle. They are already becoming thoughtful and imaginative designers, but the learning we do at school builds on the experiences the children have at home, and your involvement makes a powerful difference. Thanks for watching.